First off, I want to thank you for your purchase of the meal planner template for Notion. This video is going to show you how to get it added to your account, give you a quick walkthrough. Then we're going to walk through how to customize every aspect and end it with showing you how to do practical use applications so you can start saving time planning your meals and doing your grocery shopping. So before we get started, I do want to mention that if you don't have a Notion account, you can get one for free and you never have to pay for it. And what's really incredible about this template is that if you put the Notion app on tablet, your phones, desktop, laptop, anywhere at all, when you make a change on one device, it automatically syncs with every other device. So for example, you could grab your tablet, pop into your kitchen and plan your meals, add all the items you needed to your shopping list. Then head to the store, open your phone, and the shopping list is right there ready for you to use, making it really, really easy and effective. So with that, let's just jump in and get started. When you made your purchase, you got that PDF, and in the PDF, there were two links. One was going to show you how to get the template, and then the other was this video. So if you've already added the template to your Notion account, no problem. You can just follow along and we'll be inside Notion in just a second. If not, don't worry, I've got you covered. When you click that link, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. All you have to do is hit this duplicate button. And the next thing you're going to notice is that Notion puts up a little note that says, I'm duplicating this to, and it's going to say your name, Notion dashboard. And it takes a couple of seconds for all of that to happen, depending on internet connection and whatnot. Sometimes it could take you a little bit longer, but once it's done, we are going to see that we are inside of Notion, and here is the dashboard. It is ready for me to use. Let's go through a walkthrough so you understand what all the screens are and kind of how to get around. So this is the main dashboard, and you can access everything from here. The first thing you see are your quick navigation tabs. You have your shopping list. If you click on the word shopping list, you can come over here and you'll see your shopping list. And there's a view where you can see it by store. Each page also has this banner at the top that says back to main dashboard, just to make it really easy to help you navigate back to that main screen. Then the next one we're going to see are recipes, and we have the recipes, and we have different sort options, so you could look at only your main courses, you can look at your breakfast items, or everything. And we'll go through recipes in a few minutes. The last navigation tab we have here is called Pantry. In the Pantry, this is where we can add all of the items we need to our shopping list. And we're going to, again, walk through this in detail. But what you're going to notice is that there are two sections. We have your foods, but we also have your household items. That way, your shopping list has everything you need. You don't have to try to find a way to remember to add the laundry detergent, the shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, things like that. Now, the next thing we're going to see on this dashboard are your meals. And you don't see any meals right now because we haven't added them, but this is what your general look or the general layout will look like. And that way then you can have a quick view of all of your meals right on your phone. A little further down, we just have a snapshot of your shopping list, just so you can get a quick look at maybe a few things you need. And then we also have your favorite recipes. When we add recipes, you can add those you love to your favorites, kind of be a reminder of the different foods that you might want to, or different meals you might want to make that week. The bottom page, or the bottom section, is the index, and this is how you can get to any of the full pages that are inside of the template. You shouldn't have to use this very often because we made it super easy to access everything above. So that's how we get around and understand what the template includes. Now let's go through the customization. One thing we're going to customize is going to be our template cover, our meal plan covers. Right now they're blue. There is a way you can make these more personalized. If we click on this days of the week covers at the bottom, it's going to take us to a page where you're going to find lots of different covers in different colors. So you can make it look the way that you want. You also could make your own if you would like to. Totally up to you, but try to make this super easy. Now, there are two ways that you can get these covers. The first one is to download each individual cover you see. So I'm hovering here on the green on Sunday, and the menu shows. And in the corner, we can see it says download. And if I click on that, you're going to see in the corner of my screen, it shows it downloaded. That's option one. The next one is to download a zipped file. Now, a zipped file is basically a file that puts all of those covers into one single folder for you. And so once we download the zip folder, you will have to extract it. You may have to look at, if you're using Windows, how you open that. I know on a Mac, you double click, but you just will have to open that zip file and you'll have the folder. I'll show you here in just a second. So if I click on this, a white screen pops up to let me know it's doing the download, and my download is there. So now I have double clicked and opened it. So we can see here's the zip download, and here is my folder, and all of those are right here on my computer. Now I'm going to change that cover. I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I'm going to click on Sunday, and we see the banner is at the top. I'm going to click on Change Cover, Upload File, open my covers and find the Sunday image and click on that. And we're going to see that it is now green. See? Pretty easy. Now the next thing we want to customize is going to be your shopping list. So we'll go into the shopping list, and as we add items, we can include the store of our choice. So let me just show you something here. So if I happen to have something in there, if I click on the store, I can add which store that I need to shop at to get that item. So let's just say I'm going to get that at the grocery store. So you might be fine leaving it saying grocery store because you only have one. Or you might want to change the name of the grocery store to be the name of where you actually shop. Or maybe you have more than one store that you shop at, and so you want to have options. Or even maybe this list has a store you don't even have available. Don't worry, you can completely customize the store names. The way we do that is if you go into the top bar of the table and hover on store, it turns gray. Click on that and then choose Edit Property, and then you're going to see all of the stores listed. So if I click on Grocery Store and change that to Publix, and we're going to see it's Publix here. Now let's say that I also shop at Hy-Vee. If I hit the plus button, I can type in Hy-Vee and it adds it there. Now maybe I don't like that color. I would prefer it be purple. If you click this little arrow, I can also change the color that we see. I can then take and drag these around, arrange them. Maybe Aldi's the first place I shop. That's my number one store. But you can arrange that so when you see the stores populate, the first one that you need comes to the top of the list. Maybe you don't have a store. Let's say you don't even have an Aldi. If you hit this little arrow again, you can hit that delete button and we can remove that option and we can see I no longer have Aldi. The next section that we can personalize is called the department. So when we click in here, we can see I've got all of these different departments pre-populated and designated for you. And this is based on what most grocery stores use as their categories. Now I get that what the grocery store uses may not be the same thing you use. You might want to shop by aisle. It could be that you only need one category for all of your baking instead of having items broken out, whatever the case may be. I'm going to show you how we can customize this. Now, one thing I want to caveat is that if you customize your department, we do have to make one more change in the pantry, but I promise it's really, really easy for you to do. So to make these changes, you'll do the same thing like you did on the store, and you'll hover on department and click, and then choose Edit Property, and we can see all of our names are listed here, all of our different departments. So let's say I would like to add aisles to my produce. If I hit the little side arrow where it says produce, I can come in here. Maybe I want to call aisle 1 produce. Now it says aisle 1 produce. I can drag these around so that they're listed maybe in the order that I shop in my store. That can absolutely make it much easier and save you time when you're shopping. And so just drag and drop however you want them. Now, one other thing that you can do is you can combine any of your categories. So for example, we've got oils, vinegars and spices, and baking. Well, maybe you want to have it to be baking, oils, and spices, because of how your store is set up. Not a problem. Now, what we have to do is we would need to get rid of one category and combine them, but we don't want to do any deletion at this point. And I'll show you why in a little bit. But the first thing you'll do is go into baking, and let's just call this baking, oils, and spices. So we can see that my name is now baking, oils, and spices, but I still have this oils, vinegars, and spices here. It's okay. We're going to get rid of it in a little bit, okay? So now that I've got this customized, we can see that if I look on list by store, we scroll down, oh look, there's Publix right there, and we can see that the item is in there. In a little bit, I'll show you how when we add our stores, it resorts everything and makes your entire life so much easier. So the next thing that we want to look at is the pantry. This is where we're going to add our food items, our shopping list items, and things like that. So let's pop over into the pantry. We've got two different sections. We've got the food section and we've got the household section. All right. So a little bit ago, I showed you we changed the category. Let me show you. I changed the name of produce. Well, because I changed that category name, the filtering that was set up on this application was deleted because it doesn't match anymore. That's okay. We can go ahead and add it in. So on produce, I changed the name, so I need to add the filter. Come over to the menu, which is right above the database, and click the three dots, and then click on filter, choose department, and then choose that department that you've changed. So in this case, I changed produce from just produce to aisle 1 produce. And you can see now it only has all of my produce items listed, okay? Now, let's talk about where we went and we changed this baking one entirely. We changed this from baking to baking, oils, and spices. So I'm going to change this name, baking, oils, and spices. Oops, didn't need to return. You can leave this baking. You can change that name of the thing. It's not going to affect anything. But again, look, remember we changed that name and now all of this is not the same. So we're going to have to add another filter back in. So we go and add in the filter by department, and we're going to get baking, oils, and spices, and there, everything is in there, right? Looks good. So the next thing is going to be getting all of these items that are under the oils, vinegars, and spices moved into that baking aisle or that baking section. So all you have to do is if you click on the name of the department that you've chosen, so I click on this oils and vinegars, it comes up, I can choose a new one. And each time I click that, it moves into the new one. Okay, so we come up here, we can see, and one of them I moved was cinnamon, and we can see now cinnamon is in here. It's no longer in this section. So once I get these all moved, I can now go ahead and delete that category and then delete this from my shopping list. So let me show you. We go into department and edit property, go to oils, vinegars, and spices, and I can choose delete, and I can remove that. Okay, then I can remove this entire part from the shopping list. If I see this plus and these dots, if I click on these dots, I can delete, and look, oils and spices is gone now that I've gotten everything moved into that section. Now the last thing that we can do is we can add, edit, and remove items from our shopping list. So let's come down here into household. Now let's say that I never buy dusting spray. For whatever reason, that's just something I don't use. I don't need to have it. So if I decide there's an item on the shopping list that I will never buy, I can go ahead and delete that. Again, if you put your cursor right in front of the need column and click on the 6 dots, you can hit delete, and we can see dusting spray is now gone. Pretty easy. I can also add items. So let's say I deleted that and I'm like, oh wait, I did need that. If I hit that plus button, we're going to see it automatically is going to add this to this department for me, which makes it really easy. And I'm going to say, I really want to say end dust instead. And as I typed that, we can see it automatically sorted alphabetically in the list for me. Okay? Now, we have laundry detergent, but maybe you would just want to say Tide instead of detergent. So let's say you do Tide Pods. Tide Pods. So I can edit the name and watch what happens. It was going to move it in the list according to how that name is spelled. So for example, a great way could be like your deodorant. You might use a brand, your spouse or partner uses one brand, and maybe your son uses a different one. You can add all of those different deodorant brands into the personal care section so you know exactly what you need to buy. You also can add a note or any details that you need. The amount, you don't have to put anything in here, but you can if you want to. So that is how we use the pantry. Now what's really cool about this is because this is on your phone, if you happen to be in your laundry room and you're getting your laundry folded and realize, oh wait, I need dryer sheets. I just used my last one. You can pull up the pantry right on your phone, add dryer sheets to your shopping list. That way, when you are at the store, if you had to do a Target run, you can pull that up and not get home and realize, oh man, I forgot the dryer sheets. It's right there reminding you, I need to add this to my cart before I walk out the door. So that is how we use our pantry. I'm going to show you the detailed use of that pantry in just a little bit, but that's how we can get that customized. Now, the next thing we're going to customize is going to be your recipes. Now, your recipes are what you use to plan your weekly meals. And so I would really get all of your recipes added first, but I'm going to show you if you happen to think of a recipe, even while you're meal planning, you can always add it later. And I'll show you how we do that in just a minute. So let's start with our recipes. When we click in here, we're going to notice I've got a few ideas for you just to kind of show you some real life applications and whatnot. Now, the first thing you see here is cereal. And you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, I don't need a recipe to make cereal. Hey, I get that. You don't need a recipe to make cereal. But because how we integrate the meals we're making with our shopping list, this makes your life easier. So for example, let's open up the cereal. Let's say we're going to have cereal this week. What I'll be able to do is choose the cereals that I need to buy. And we'll go through that in just a few minutes, okay? But I want to kind of show that. I would consider making it like for things that are simple, like spaghetti, like grilled out burgers, sandwiches, anything that you make. I would go ahead and add the recipe in here simply to make your shopping list planning a whole lot simpler. Of course, you don't have to. You can always just add the name of something to your menu without adding a whole recipe detail, but just want you to have a heads up about that, okay? So let me show you how an actual recipe looks. This is a potato chowder. You can customize the icon. You've got the name. The meal type, you can choose multiple meal types. This is a main course, but let's say it's also a family favorite. So I can have more than one meal type, so it pulls into those different types of sorts. The source, if you happen to find a recipe on Food Network, recipes.com, a blog, anywhere at all, you can put that in here. And I would recommend you do that. And I'm going to show you a real life application of using a recipe in just a few minutes where I do that. Now the tried, you don't have to put anything in here, but there are two options. You can click on want to try or tried and true. So it could be that you're scrolling Pinterest and you see a recipe that looks interesting. And so you go and you check it out and you're thinking, I really want to try that. You could not take the time to create the entire recipe, but you could add a recipe, throw the source in here, and mark it want to try. So when you're looking at your recipes, getting ready to plan your meals, you're reminded, oh my goodness, these are the things that I'm looking to try, the meals that I think sound good. Then we have a photo. The photos, we'll go through this again in a little bit. You do not have to have a photo here. The photo just is what we see on the recipe page. So if you don't have a photo, you're not going to see anything. It will be blank. But if you don't want the recipe or you don't want the photo, you could pop into Canva and make a big image and just write the name of the recipes on it. You can find different ways to customize this to give it the look that you want in your recipe index. Totally up to you. As we scroll down, we see all of the prep details as well as the serving and any notes that go along with this. Then we can see that we've got the food or the recipe listed here. And here, this I just realized has a typo in it. There we go. That was potato chowder. We can see all of the different ingredients, how much I need, etc. And then it's attached to this recipe. And then we have all of our directions, okay? So now let me go through and show you how you can add a recipe. Now, if you hit this new button, you can get a clean page. The thing is, you're not going to have any of the formatting, none of the fields, anything like that. So if I click on this, I mean, you've got that, but you don't have any of this bottom stuff. Do you see that? We need to have our formatting. I'm going to go ahead and click on the 3 dots and delete that. So that's how you can delete any recipe. There is a recipe template that is set up for you to use. It is named ZZ-recipe template intentionally. And that's so as your recipes are sorted, which it's going to automatically sort this alphabetically, that template will always be found at the bottom of your list. It's not going to be mixed up in the middle. Really easy for you to always locate as needed. So if you see this, we click on these 3 dots and we're going to click duplicate, telling Notion to make a copy, and we can see here's our copy of that. So if I click on that, I'm going to open it. Now I can start adding my recipe. The first thing we see is this icon. It's paper. That doesn't have anything to do with food. So there's a couple of options. If I click on that, I can hit this remove button and it will just take the icon off entirely. Or I can choose to make something, use something fun. So let's say I want this fork and knife. If I click on that and I can choose the color, we can see it becomes a fork and knife. Then this is the name of your recipe. So we're going to call this stuffed peppers. I know that this is a main course, and for us, it happens to also be a family favorite. So the source, I know I got this recipe from Betty Crocker. So I'm going to pop over to Betty Crocker, and here is her stuffed peppers recipe. So the next thing I might want to do is say, okay, let me copy that link. So if I copy the link and come over here, I can paste that in. So now we can see that, hey, I can easily get to the actual recipe if I ever need to. Now, caveat here, do not click enter. If you hit enter, let me show you. Do you see how it pops it down here? It shows this preview. I mean, you can leave that there if you want to. Or, if we come in here, just click on the next field and that link stays intact without adding it below. Totally up to you. The tried, well, ours is a tried and true. This is one of our favorites. So now the next thing is going to be the image. Now, when it comes to images, you can't just really use anybody's image that you want just because you feel like you want to. So like you can't go to Google and just download an image. You have to have permission. So sites like Betty Crocker, Food Network, getting permission to use their photos, yeah, probably is going to be pretty difficult. You could reach out to a blogger and ask them. But again, I'm telling you what you should or should not do, but if you decide you just want to get that image anyway and use it since it's just personal, I can't tell you not to do that. I'm just giving you what the legal ramifications are and what you should do. So in the case of stuffed peppers, I want to have a picture of stuffed peppers just so I know what it is at glance, what I'm going to make. If I go to this site called Unsplash, you can search for any type of image. So like here's one that shows stuffed peppers. Maybe it isn't exactly what I make, but at least the image is there to kind of remind me what I'm making. So if I click this download button, it's going to download that. I can come back over here. And if I hover on the recipe template image and click the 3 dots, replace, upload file, go into my downloads and I find that image. Now we can see I now have some stuffed peppers there. I can delete out this little instruction, and now we're set. Next up, it's time to start adding all of our recipe details. So you would just pop over to your recipe, look at all of the details to see exactly what you need to add. So I would come over here and I would say, okay, it's a 350 Fahrenheit. And at prep time, prep time is 15, total is 15 minutes or 55 minutes. So it's prep time, 15 minutes. It's going to cook for 40 minutes because the total time was 55 minutes. And I remember seeing that it said it serves 4 people. Okay. Next up, we have to add the ingredients. Now, before we do that, we do have to do a couple of extra things. First off, this just says recipe name. Well, we need to change that. So we can click this and hit rename, and then we can type in stuffed peppers. Okay, we can see that's changed. Now we can see under recipe, it still says recipe name. I need that to say stuffed peppers. So I have to do one more thing. If I click on this filter button, we can see this little banner shows. It says recipe name. Click the down arrow and edit recipe name to say stuffed peppers. Okay. Now we're ready to add items. So you'll just, hit the wrong button there. Hit the new button. And you're going to notice as soon as I hit new, look, stuffed pepper shows. So I know I need peppers and I need 4. And this comes from the produce. So I'm going to choose my department. I also need to get some minute rice. And I need 1 cup. And that's going to be in my dry goods and my pastas. I also need ground beef. And I need 1 pound, and that's going to be in my meat and seafood. So you can go through and add all of the items in this fashion for your recipe. Let's just assume I've got the whole thing done. So the next thing we're going to do is add the directions. So you go back to your recipe, and I would make this easy if you just select it, and copy that, and come over here, put your cursor in here, and paste it. A lot easier. But I don't like that formatting. I want this to be numbered items. So if I put my cursor here and I back out that bullet, type in the number 1 and space, what's going to happen is this becomes a numbered list. So I'm going to back everything up. I'm going to hold my shift, tab a space, hit enter, and now it's automatically numbered to number 2. So that is how we add a recipe. Pretty cool, isn't it? All right. So now we're going to talk about adding items to our meal plan. So the first thing we're going to do is add items, and then I'm going to show you how you get this ready for the next week. So you'll click on the day of the week that you need to plan meals for, and you'll click on Sunday, and it's going to slide in as a side window. We see our meals and snacks. So if I click on breakfast, it says empty. And let's say I'm going to make this sausage breakfast casserole for breakfast. For lunch, we are going to have, comes up, sometimes the internet is a little bit slow. We're going to do sloppy joes. And for dinner, I know I want to do stuffed peppers, but I want to show you this. When your list gets really long, scrolling through that list can be difficult. If you start typing in the name of the recipe, that's all that you'll see. So then I can add that. And now we can see as I'm adding them, it's showing up over here. So let's say I can go to Monday. And on Monday for breakfast, we're just going to have cereal. Lunch is at school. And then for dinner, we're going to have potato chowder. So we can see that I've got my meals added. All right. Now, when you are done with the week and you're ready to start the next week's meals, really easy to do. All you do is you click on the recipe and you see this little minus button. You say minus and it goes away. Let's see, I can minus all of those. And now Sunday, oops, wrong button. Hit this again. Oops, hit the wrong thing. Hit the minus button and Sunday goes away. Okay? That way it's really easy to do. I'm going to add my items back in just so we can get them all. There we go. The peppers. All right. So there's all of the meals that I want to have. So the next step, once you get your meals added, is determining what ingredients do I need to make that. So let's start first with the sausage hash brown breakfast casserole. So I'm going to click on that, and then I can click to expand it, and the recipe will slide in for me. And we can scroll down, and we can see all of the ingredients we need. Here we will go ahead and add everything we need to buy. Well, I know I need breakfast sausage and eggs. I need cream of celery soup, and I need hash browns. I've got that. I go to Sloppy Joe's, and I would do the same thing. I need to get green pepper, onion, I need ground beef for that, and tomato sauce and hamburger buns. Okay, so you'll just add all those items you need. Now, remember when I was talking about by even doing this with those meals you make regularly that there's not really a recipe for, you still can simplify your life. So like for cereal, but click on this, watch this. So we come down here, I've got all these different kinds of cereals. So you could easily just come and say, okay, I know my kids, like they need some Cheerios and we want some Frosted Flakes, okay? Every time that you click on this need button, you're adding it to your shopping list. It's getting populated for you, okay? Once you've done your recipes, then go into your pantry. And here we're going to go through and add everything we need to our list, okay? Now, as you go through and look at this, you're going to see that green pepper is listed twice. Well, the reason it's listed twice is because the green pepper is attached to a recipe, but you might also need it. So let's say that you know you like to make salads, and one of the veggies you like to have in your salad each week is green pepper. Well, if you only have this green pepper added to your list, it looks like you need to buy only one. Well, maybe I need to add more green pepper. And I'll show you the practical application of that in just a minute. So we can go through and we can add all of the items that we need in all of the different departments, the household that you need, everything, okay? So we can do that. So we go back to the main dashboard after we've gotten all of our items added to our shopping list. Now let's go in and look at that shopping list. So we can see everything is in here. See that green pepper? So now when we're at the store, we're going to see I need at least 1/2. So if I know I usually eat 3 green peppers a week, I need 3.5 green peppers, so I need to buy 4. So it just is kind of a way to help you remember what you need to buy. So the next thing we're going to do is add the store. So let's see, I know I get that at Hy-Vee. Oh, maybe there's a deal on meat this week at Publix. So I can just add in wherever it is I need to buy all of these items, okay? And what's really cool is that as you add all of these different things, we can see the store, but what makes this even better is when we come to list by store, come in here and look. Everything is divided by store. It is then sorted by department and then alphabetically. So it makes it so easy for you to know what you need at each store. As you shop, you will check the item off. So as you add it to your shopping cart, you will just tick it off. So let's say I put Bisquick in my cart, I tick it off, it's gone, okay? You also could come through and update this. Let's say that you know, okay, I don't want this to have green pepper twice, so I know I need to buy 4 of them in total. I can just tick that off before I even go to the store so that I know I need to buy 4 green peppers, okay? So that is how we use the shopping list. Makes it really slick. So again, as you shop, you will just check off all of these items. Same thing like if you have a spouse or partner and they're at the store and they happen to pick up those Tide Pods, they can go ahead and mark it as purchased so that you aren't both buying the same item. So that, my friend, is how we use this entire system. It's really easy, really user-friendly. Now, when you get ready to do some customization, if you're confused or you need some help, reach out. I am always here to help in any way that I can. So if you need me to help you get it customized, go into Etsy, shoot me a message, and let's make sure we get it set up for you. So with that, happy meal planning.